Okay, so what I wanted to tell you is that Patvi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, they go together, they don't go individual. If they go individual, they're called Mahabhuta. So they're always combined. It's called Dhatu. What we can see is Dhatu, not the individual ones. So don't get fooled that you are able to see Patvi. You're seeing a combination, not a single. And hence the word Dhatu. Dhatu means combined and a quality of something. Then we can say if water is involved with Patvi, then you get smoothness. If water is not involved with Patvi, there is no smoothness. It becomes rough and it becomes brittle. Okay. So one needs to observe. The problem is most of us don't observe. We take it like a session or a discourse, and that's it. I want to know, and that doesn't help. Buddha Dhamma is for someone who would like to investigate, not for someone who just takes it and just lives with it. He can't investigate what's happening around him or within him. That's not at all Buddha Dhamma. Okay. So most of the people we find they just collect information. They are collectors. They don't investigate what they're collecting. So what we need to do is to investigate what is Patvi. It's not individual. You can't see an individual Patvi. Please understand. You will see it a combination. Now, what's a combination? It means it's combined. It's come together. So in every Patvi, there is an Apo. And Patvi Apo has Tejo and Vayu, all that together. And they come together. And how do they come together? Because of energy. Of that energy, we can call it as gravitation. Because it's called gravitational energy. It's gravitating. And how does the gravitation work? It goes in circle. That's what is called as Vatta, circling. And samvatta means dispersing. Vivatta means coming, come together, and just what we call as pulsation. So if you check your body, it's pulsating. That's it. What is pulsating? It's pulsating with life. So Vayu is very important for movement of the mouth. It requires Vayu. Otherwise, it gets paralyzed. So you can't open the mouth because there is no air which is moving. So it stops. Nothing you can do. So a Puttujana now takes this air element to be his. Because that's so important. So when you go to the doctor will say a lot of gas in your body. Do you get worked up on that? No. Then you take a medication. And when you take a medication, it will reduce the gas. Because we use the word gas. So we think there's something. And that is how a Puttujana works. He doesn't see what is happening. What is really happening? Why the gas has increased? What has made it increase? It's not that it just came from somewhere and it increased. No. The food has Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. So if you increase one, it will increase the other because they come together. So that foolish person, that's the reason Buddha says, an untaught worldling. That's the reason he uses that beautiful word, an untaught worldling. And he doesn't even know what is happening. He just thinks, you know what, I had a gastric problem. I have a lot of gas and I'm taking this medicine and that medicine, and some stupid he talks. Doesn't understand on what basis this has happened. What made him to get this in the first place? Forget about resolving it. Resolving comes later. But what made it? What's the cause? Now we see when there is autumn, that's what we call after autumn, you get winter, the air increases. So it should increase in your body also. Simple. And what is a medicine? By the way, it's again Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. What else? But that stupid guy doesn't know. He thinks he's taking a medicine. And hence, these people are termed as Putujana, like a child. They don't know what is happening. They have no idea at all. Forget science. They don't even have a simple idea what is happening. They just take everything for granted. And hence, Putujana. At least the scientists are better. They at least investigate. So, Putujana is one who doesn't know how things work. So, in this four elements, he takes it as himself. So, he goes to a restaurant, eats, drinks crazily. Why? He doesn't know he's eating Patavi. He's eating Apo. He's eating Tejo. He's eating Vayu. Doesn't know. And he keep on gobbling it, just like a goblin keeps on eating, 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 eating. What happens? You're adding more and more Vayu and making the system to shut down. Why does it shut down? What makes it shut down? In the digestive fire, that's what we call a digestion. It's also called a digestive fire. It can take limited amount. Otherwise, what it does, it will burn it. There's a difference between burning it and digesting it. Digestion means you take or it takes the nutrients, ojas. Burning means it's just a burnt out thing. When it burns, it leaves out carbon. So you have carbon footprint in your body. What happens? It turns toxic. So that is reserved or preserved in the liver because nowhere else to go, because liver is supposed to be taking care of purification. So now this putrefied thing is going inside. And what it does? It increases aging. Simple. So this person says, I'm feeling acidic, acid reflux. Then I'm having acidity. Again, that idiot doesn't know what is acidity. It is his lifestyle problem, nothing to do with acidity. And somebody has constipation. Why does he has constipation? Somebody has piles. Why does he have piles? What made it? Doesn't think. Because if it becomes solid, more and more solid, it breaks. Because there is no water to bind it, to make it soft. And the movement, it can only move something when it's not heavy. So the air cannot move something if it is something is heavy, and Patvi is heavy. So there's no movement. So what it does, it makes matter worse. So he doesn't get stools or feces because that requires vayu. It's not able to move. So then what happens? It moves up now instead of moving down. So it affects circulatory system, it affects respiratory system, it affects excretory system. That's how it works. And hence Buddha says an untaught worldling are more than taught worldlings. In fact, the whole world is filled with untaught people who have no idea. They think they have this body, not realizing outside and inside are the same. And hence it is called Utu Parinamaja Abhada. Utu means environment. Whatever is happening outside is the same thing happening inside. No different. Absolutely no different. If it is cold outside, it's cold inside. So you need to have food which will cater to that cold. If it is warm inside, it's warm outside also. So you have to eat food which takes care of that warmth. If it is rainy, then you should eat food meant to take care of the rainy season. If you take food which is against that, then you are changing the metabolism. So if you change the metabolism, the viscosity decreases, it changes. Let's not worry about increasing or decreasing. The viscosity is removed or changed. So the pH value is changed. The blood also has pH value. Water has pH value. So it changes. It has a devastating effect. It's nobody's kind and nobody's cruel. It's our ignorance which makes all the difference. That's it. So, and hence Buddha says, this person, abhinandati, delighting in Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, as though it belongs to him. That stupid fellow doesn't know that what is outside is what is inside. If something has to rain, then that should something which should get heated up. If something is not getting heated up, from where does it get humid? And he thinks the clouds are just coming randomly. No. And the hurricanes are coming randomly. No. Or the tornadoes are coming randomly. No. They come because of the environment. That's what it is. So where is the hurricane in the body? Hurricane in the body is dysentery. Simple. That's hurricane. And what's a tornado in the body? Tornado in the body is just the water coming out like crazy. And with all the fluids, everything is washed away at once. And you suffer. Then I say, you know what? I shouldn't have gone to that restaurant. I got food poisoning, etc. What's poison? What is poison? Poison is changing of pH value. That's it. Nothing else. So if you don't know that much, its exact meaning called putojana. Because now he blames the hotel or that restaurant or wherever he has gone to eat. but little realizing that it has got nothing to do with what he thinks. Okay, it just happened because of wrong food at the wrong time. And hence, what Buddha did is to understand Ayurveda. He understood what's the nature. If you eat anything after 6 p.m. in a summer, it will not digest. Leave alone winter. Winter, after 12:30 or 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you can't eat. So he made it as ekabatti. And in Ayurveda, if you read the Samhita, it says very clearly that is king in one who eats only once a day, one meal a day. Now I might say that I feel hungry. Yes, if you feel hungry, eat. But don't take the time and eat and saying that, oh, it's 12 p.m. now or 1 p.m. now, so I should eat. No, that's not eating. That's just filling up the stomach, which adds toxins because the fire is not ready to burn what you're putting. And that's the reason he said to the monks, don't eat. Not because something strange is going to happen. First, you should understand the nature. Dhamma is the nature, nothing to do with what I believe or I don't believe. Stupidity. So, if the outside temperature is cold, there are many things you shouldn't eat. The outside temperature is hot. There are many things you can eat. If the outside is raining, there are many things you can eat and many things you can't eat. So, prudence is what is required. So, we go to a shopping mall or to a grocery store or to a supermarket. Just fill ourselves with bread and butter and some stupid things. And those are fermented products. And bread over butter is poison. Simple. Peanut butter, even more worse. Now, you mean to say shouldn't be eating? You can eat. It says brown bread. There's no brown in the bread. There's flour. It has empty calories. It doesn't have anything. So what happens? Starch. Now, starch in a winter season cannot digest because outside temperature is low. You can't increase the inside temperature. Not possible. Because the sun doesn't shine as much as it shine for the digestion. So the vayu will increase. So when the vayu increases, the agni or the tejo becomes manda. The Buddha used the word manda, means very minor, very feeble, cannot burn. So what it does, a very strange phenomenon it does, it burns the blood. Now the blood becomes toxic. And that's the only thing in the body which circulates. So you are circulating poison from head to toe. So now you have poison going everywhere. Little bit of poison, not that it is going to kill you in a long way, but it cuts ayu. Ayu usma vinyana. So now ayu is cut. The more it cuts ayu, if you're where to stay for 100 years, it keeps on dipping. So when we go to restaurant, we don't realize what we eat. Or when we go to the department store or a supermarket, we don't know what we buy. because we don't even know what we should eat. Okay, that's the danger thing. And he takes everything to be mine because he's ignorant. Ah, this is my bread. Oh, this is my kind of bread. Then he takes bread, gets constipated because there's no fire to burn that thing. The damn thing just stays there. So it gets disintegrated and it becomes toxin. And that toxin goes into the bloodstream through liver. I had it. Then what happens? Well, that thing keeps on increasing vayu. So he goes to the doctor and he gives him some drug to reduce it. But then heat increases. And when heat increases, it should, what it should do? It's inflamed. You would again take another tablet to reduce inflammation. Now, when you take a tablet to remove inflammation, you are expanding it. So the vayu again increases. That's fun drive. And some people, what they do is they take alcohol. It increases vayu instantaneously in cold season. So that's the reason. See, when I buy a whiskey bottle or a wine bottle or whatever bottle, there is instant gratification that it is mine. That's what Buddha says. Patavim patavito sanjanati. He takes like this. He takes patavi like this, like whatever he thinks. Sannitva patavim manyati. Like that, apo manyati, tejo manyati, vayu manyati. Oh, what a gentle breeze, as though it is for him. Manyati. Patavito manyati. Patavim me iti manyati. Patavim abhinandati. Like that, vayu abhinandati. Tam kissa hetu. Why is that? Aparinyata. Does not know. Does not know. So these 15 things what we spoke about vayu. Oh, sorry, yeah, 14 things what we spoke about vayu is not known. So he takes all these 14 or 15 or 13 or whatever we spoke as true. He thinks, oh, I'm breathing because of air. How lucky I am. Then he goes to an oxygen bar, O2 bars, and they create a small story that those people who go to O2 bars are very healthy. So there is huge rush to go there, and they charge $100 for sitting, which I'm ready to pay, thinking that that O2 is going to help me. It can't. So 99.99% of our shopping is dumbness. Literal. So that's the reason it's called aputujana, filled with so many products. All are made out of patavi, apo, tejo, vayu. And I think it's mine. What a stupid way of seeing life. Okay, so with that, we end our journey into vayu. Anyone, any questions on Vayu? Yeah, Kalpana, you had you wanted to talk. I think you then removed. Kalpana Sahare, you wanted to say something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
1 minute, sir. In Ayurveda, sir,
Hmm,
about the Vayu Dhatu says that uh, Pitta Pangu, Kapha Pangu, Pangava Mala Dhatavaha, Vayu na Tattva Jayate, Tatra Dhatu Jayati. That is a slok on in the Charak Samhita.
correct.
There is Pitta and Kapha are both are the Pangu. Pangu means they can't go one side to the other place in our body. But the Vayu helps to say यानी सर वो क्या है वात वात पंगु नहीं है वात ही लेके जाता है पित्त और कफ को
Hmm,
जब पित्त पित्त स्थान से बढ़ जाता है यानी प्रकोप होता है पित्त का दैट मीन्स एसिडिटी बढ़ती है तो पित्त के स्थान से पित्त बढ़ने के बाद में वो वहीं पे रहता है लेकिन वो इधर उधर जा नहीं सकता है वो वायु ही लेके जाता है
right.
सेम हाँ आणि एंड सेम विथ कफ यानी
Y-
दो कफ और पित्त दोनों भी पंगु है यानी उनको जा नहीं सकते इधर उधर वात ही लेके जाता है
सही है. So,
That's why when you talk about the cervical spondylitis, there is the vayu
right.
because of gharshan of the bones. There is a bone crushing and there is a vayu, and you call the vayu cervical spondylitis. Same thing is occurs in the lumbar, and you call the lumbar spondylitis.
Yes.
The space wise the disease name is changes, but physiologically the that is occurs in the both side in the same manner.
Yeah. So
And that's
what?
why the sir in Ayurveda there is a buddhi samane sarvesham viprete vipreya. It's a big slok which is same as Buddha taught teaching.
Correct.
बुद्धि ही समान है सर्वेशम यानी जो बढ़ता है वो समान गुणों से ही बढ़ेगा विपरीत विपर्य दिस श्लोक इज द मेडिकल लाइन इज अ वेरी important. We are taking the medicine to the others. This thing is very important for that. If there is dehydration, we take the gives the IV point.
Hmm.
And वृद्धि समाने सर्वेशम विप्रते विप्रया. This श्लोक is doing in the medical line. All pathies do the like that श्लोक.
Yeah, that's correct.
And there is also a Rutucharya, Dinacharya is very important to our life, sir.
Yes, very true.
Rutucharya. हाँ. Because the whole day there is a three parts of the ये वात काल, कफ काल और पित्त काल. So that the charya is saying the in the sahitas, all sahitas. You if you do not follow this, you inviting the diseases.
Thanks, Kalpana. So, for those people who couldn't understand what she said, let me put it in a right way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure. So,
I
number
am
one,
trying, sir.
no, that's okay. You're trying, it's fine. Not an issue. So, first thing,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, sure. First thing, Vayu is light. Light, not in light. Light as in a very light substance because it can move. So, in space, it's only air because that's the lightest particle you can ever find it. You can only feel it, but you can't see it. So now in the body, you have air. The job of the air is to move. So it moves everything. So the bile is moved and the phlegm is also moved. So in Girimananda Sutta, Buddha talks about Pitta Samuttana Abhada, Simma Samuttana Abhada, Vata Samuttana Abhada. It's a very perfect Ayurvedic words what he has used there. What it means, the bile juice, it should produce in not too much quantity or too less quantity, because Vayu is the one which moves it. It doesn't know what it is moving, it just moves it. So when it moves everywhere. If it moves everywhere, it destroys because it's acid. It's not supposed to move from one to another, but Vayu does it. And then what happens? When it does it, it occupies space. What was supposed to be spacious, just like our homes, there was an empty plot and now it is filled up. So you have an obstacle. You are able to go easily, but now you're constricted. On top of that, the phlegm, that's heavy. It's made out of water and earth, just like mud, ledge of mud. It just comes, sticks. Now, Vayu will remove water from that. So it thickens up. And that, when enters lungs, it's called bronchial problems. The pneumonia is an effect of excess water accumulation in order to destroy something. So there is immune cells which fight unnecessarily. So the lungs are blocked. Why it happened? Because that idiot ate something which increased this phlegm. So the basic nature, if we don't understand, we are causing injury to the vehicle. Just like I'm driving a car, I have no idea what fuel I'm filling it up. Once I fill it with gasoline, another time I fill it with diesel, thinking that they both are fuel. You had it. The engine of petrol or gasoline is different than that of diesel. So you screwed up your car. In the same way, effect is exactly the same. So then what happens? The Vayu, as outside, so is inside. So, Ariu, when I come this Sunday to your place, the air here and the air there are different. If I'm not careful, I'll end up getting disease. Doesn't mean that I can't land there. I can, but the environment is changed. So basically, the Dhamma is to know the environment, right? It's an environment. It's an environmental causes more than anything else. So we don't know the environmental causes. The Putujana is one who doesn't understand the environment at all. He takes it for granted and acts funny. Let's say somebody in Indian migrates to America and he eats all kind of food. He's basically destroying his body. Simple. Why? Because it is refrigerated or deep frozen food. He doesn't have time to cook. So what does he do? Just buy, put it in microwave, eat it. What does microwave do? Microwave alters. It heats up, but it alters. So my objective is to heat it up so that I can eat. So then when I eat microwave product, I'm adding toxins. It changes the pH level. We have it. So we are adding more and more toxins. And we don't know when it is going to explode. Just like, out of a huge bucket, you add a little bit of something, like a small pebble. It just goes down, goes down, goes down, goes down. And one day, only pebbles remain and no water, right? I'm adding pebbles every day. So that's what she's trying to say, that the Vayu moves all of this because it has a movement property. And it's very, very, very light. Air is light, very light, not heavy. And when it comes together, it becomes like a whirlwind. It can remove anything. And that in body is dysentery. It removes everything. Nothing is spared. So, if we look at Girimananda Sutta under Adinava Sanya, 49 diseases. Out of that, 17 diseases are nature. 20 diseases are attributed to the habits. So 17 plus 20 is 37. 12 of them lifestyle. 49. That's the list of diseases. If the person was not indulgent, it's not that he's going to escape it, but many things will not come. He's creating it. Any questions before we move to the next section? Otherwise, we're done with Vayu. So we understood 4 elements. Yes.
So I think you've mentioned walking helps digestion. Also, Sutta says that. Is it related to Vayu in some way?
Yes. What happens is when you move, it heats up. When it heats up, it reduces the accumulation, the toxins, what I was talking about, right? It's on the abdominal lining. So it's just like a wax. So when there's a heating, the wax will start to reduce. It's called lipids. So those lipids are created in the liver. So it reuses it and burns it off. So you don't get fatty liver. There's a disease called as NAFLD, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So the person gets NAFLD when he is not having any metabolism. So Buddha says in the Chankama Sutta, the food is digested well and it's a good for meditation than sitting. Sitting meditation increases vata. And that's the reason there's a pain. Because just it increases vata, air. Only a stupid guy will sit for 8 to 10 hours. He should be out of his mind to do it. That's the reason there's 4 postures, not one posture. Sitting, standing, walking, sleeping, 4 postures. You would never find even one single sutta which talks about Buddha saying, close your eyes and meditate. Have you seen any sutta which says, close your eyes? No. There's not even one sutta, including Satipatthana Sutta. He's asking you to watch the breath. He's not asking you to close the eyes and watch the breath. There's nothing like that. But what has happened in meditation means close your eyes. Why? And it also means only sitting down. Where? Where does it say? So we have got into wrong assumptions that meditation means you sit in one place and make things for you. No, it's all postures, all. You're supposed to get pajanana. What is pajanana means? Pa in janana, like pa in sambhaya. There's a keyword there, pa. So janana means to know what's happening. That's what I'm supposed to be knowing anyway. Okay. So then pajanana is to know it complete sense, detailed, that I'm detailing it out. What is happening? Like in some pajanana, again, pajanana with some, right? So it's not about sitting somewhere, nothing to sit, nothing to stand. It's just doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's looking at what is happening. To know it clearly. Janana is to know. Pa is clarity. Like in pa sambhaya, to know clearly that calming is there. Pa sambhaya. Kaya sankharan. Assa passa is calm down. And I know it clearly, it is calmed down. It's not there. The body is not shaking like this. Still. Should I close my eyes and do that? Not necessary. If you're closing your eyes, it helps because one ayatana less to manage out of 6. The eyes will go here and there. You're closing your eyes. Simple. Because it has a lock here. So one impression less out of 6 impressions. That's fair. But that has got nothing to do with being in jhana. You are supposed to be in jhana, not get into jhana. You can't get into jhana. You are in jhana. It's not a cloth to get into. That's the reason Sakka says, E dhamma nalam abhinivesaya. There is no point in leaning to what? Abhinivesa. Abhi means higher. Ni is to getting. Vesa is garb, cloth. Just like you're putting a cloth. So I say, I'll get into jhana as though it's a dress. Or I say, I'll get into meditation. Nothing like that. You can't get into meditation. You are in meditation. There's nothing like I get into a car in jhana. I can say I would like to meditate because that's the words what I can use. But in reality, You're not doing anything. You're just letting go of whatever you're doing and you're in meditation. So, if we were to look at Vayu, it's there. You watch it. A Puttujana doesn't do it. And hence it's called Puttujana. So we are talking about Puttujana. And I'm just telling you how different it is from what Buddha says, just as an example, but we are only talking about Puttujana. And that's what it is. So our body has Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, which makes us feel I am. This shape, this color, this texture, movement like this, all of that is driven by Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo. So if there is I-ness in me, is because of all of those, these four. So when I see something, some other human being, I'm seeing a person. You got the point? And that's what Puttujana will do, because that Abhinandati is there, Manyana is there. It takes it to be a absolute person. Any questions? Anyone? I think we will do the Bhuta tomorrow because the time is too short. Begin that. Yes. Yes, Aryu.
Yeah, so just want to summarize on the air. I think you talk about how many qualities is in the other three, but how many in total is air?
You tell me. Yesterday we spoken on that.
I have some notes.
Yeah,
But,
go ahead.
of movements.
Yes.
This one brings smell,
Yes.
helps drying,
Yes.
generates energy,
Yes.
vibrating.
Yes. 5.
How about contraction and expansion? Same movement.
No, that's part of the first one only, right? Movement.
Okay. Okay.
So we are done with all the 5. Oh, sorry, all the 4. The 5 things other than the 10. So the 10 remains the same. Any questions from anyone else? Yes, sir.
Just curious. In this outer space where there's not much air, could you say why is very little?
Who said there's no air in outer space?
In terms of air molecule is less.
It's there, you see, when you go on a 37,000 flight, you mean to say there is no air. If there were no air, you get sucked into vacuum.
Yeah, I mean very outer space. Like
You go whichever outer space, there would be air. But the thing is, we can't know the property. So we are saying dark matter because we couldn't find what it is. So in science, they call that as dark matter because we are yet to find out what it is made up of. They still call it as matter for that thing, right? There is no place in this world, where you don't have these 4 elements. And when you say there is space, outer space or whatever we want to define that as, it should have the remaining 4. What do we call that? Which we can't define. We say dark matter because it's dark. And the matter we can't see. Instead of calling avidya, they call it as dark matter. Yes.
And so if in outer space an astronaut takes off the mask,
He'll die.
Gets sucked out, right?
Yes.
Does that mean the wire inside is more than, so it's coming out?
It changes the values, Aryu. It's got nothing to do with what happens. It's the values are changed. So something becomes predominant and something becomes inferior. And that's not how you're designed in the first place. So it cuts life, simple as that, because it can't adapt to that environment.
But some other beings might be able to adapt it
If
to
they
them.
are supposed to be just like we have here, if some other place they can tolerate or they are used to that, nothing happens. Just like people on South Pole or North Pole, right? They can withstand. Their body are meant to be. Why that? The Tibetans, the Ladakhis, Sikkimis, Bhutanese, all these people, if you take, their blood vessels are bigger. Why? The size is bigger. The reason being they get less oxygen. So they don't feel high altitude sickness. The Nepalese, they don't feel. So the trekkers or the mountaineering people are all from that part of the world because they can easily climb the mountain. Whereas, let's say somebody from America or from Australia or from any region who are not used to that kind of a high altitude, they will find sickness. Not because something happened, it's because their body is not meant to be for that. They're not adaptability is not there. They're not designed for it. Yes.
Yeah, I guess in the same way, like let's say Asian food and American food are very different in qualities. So if a
Yes.
person moves and start having the other food, the body will be hurt in many ways.
Yes, because it can't take it. See, let's say I like American food, some Mexican food, let's say Doritos with some rice and this and that. I have no idea what it is. So, what happens? There's a change in the values. So, the body either gets adjusted to what it is or it will reject it. That means it changes the values. So, whatever Kalpana was talking about, right? The value changing means what? It means this air is carrying the nutrients, will now start throwing it everywhere. So then it increases the other two. So there's a damage. So there is a tolerance level in the body that some kind is okay, but if I indulge all the time, it becomes problem. Yes.
I guess this is why when someone have some other country food for a long time, they crave the hometown food. I guess it's the body asking for that composition.
Yes. Because it's making him feel uncomfortable. Basically, what he was feeling comfort is no longer comforting. So now he has to search for a better food elsewhere. So what happens? He becomes homesick because the food is not getting properly digested. It's not about once in a while you eat, it's going to happen because it just knows the tolerance. But consistently, if I start consuming it, let's take an example, Aryu. Now, I take fish. Okay? Let's say somebody gives me fish. The body doesn't even know what is fish. The first time when I eat, it takes longer time to burn it because it doesn't know what to do with it. Second time, it knows it, but it can become, that's the reason we say allergic, right? So even on the packets, what do they write? Peanut and this on that nut, this nut can be allergic. You need to know before you consume and all that. Why? Because there is a reaction, right? So the food doesn't have any problem. The reaction has a problem, right? It's creating reactions. Yes.
last question, maybe. So speaking of uh, allergic reaction, why it seems like these days when the United States, so many people get allergic to so many different things. What's going wrong with the elements? Seem like when I was in China, people are less allergic, but here they get more
No, there are
allergic to
two
many.
causes, Ari. One is the environmental causes, and another one is the type of the food the Americans are consuming. Right? It's not fresh food at all. There's no freshness in the name of freshness. Right? When you say fresh, it's not really fresh. It is made to look fresh rather than being fresh. So the allergens are going to be there. Yeah, what May is putting processed. See, I'll tell you another thing, Ari. You look at anything you eat, it's added with syrup. So it is a preservative. Glucose or sugar is a preservative. They add so much of sugar to every damn food because you can preserve if there is sugar. It's carbon, right? So you can actually store. The shelf life increases. So they add syrup, some kind of syrup, which is sugar. So basically, when you take too much of sugar, your digestion goes down. So it becomes allergic reactions. What is allergic? It's a immune way of rejecting whatever is coming in. So it becomes autoimmune disorder. The immune is fighting with itself. Yes.
Okay, so I guess in summary, the more processed and sugary food these people are eating, the more allergic their body become to everything.
Exactly. So even with good food, it will reject. Even though the food is good, it's really good food, like, uh, whole grains and vegetables and stuff like that. But it's so used to junkies that it just rejects every damn thing. So the person ends up eating only tablets.
Thank you for explaining.
Sure. Yeah, Mangala. And by the way, Mangala is also a doctor. So you will be able to hear.
Namo Buddhaya, everybody.
Nam-
Namo Buddhaya, sir. Uh, Actually, talking about Vayu, and long back I had read a paper on meditation, and I'll try and search for it again. Why does sitting still? Rio was asking, very often that why do you have to sit still? And what they found in that paper was when you sit still, what is there in Ayurveda, the Kundalinis, that is the ganglionic cells which secrete the steroids, the good steroids in the body. When you are sitting still, the blood supply, we call it the splanchnic or the central blood supply increases, and that releases the steroids from the ganglions, that is the kundalinis. And once, even if you just blink, you are using your muscles of the eye. So he says you sit still with your eyes just drooping. I mean, you use minimum oxygen for even vision or anything. So all the oxygen is available for the kundalini and the central nervous system, that is your brain. So your brain gets washed with plenty of oxygen, and that is what clears your thoughts and all your good thoughts, and the good steroids are there. So that is the basis of meditation, and that is why the oxygen is actually probably what he is trying to say of Vayu. So this is a very scientific fact, that the position in which the stillness which meditation asks for, which Buddha talks about, uh, is very scientific. And I mean, it has been proved. They are doing a lot of research. Somebody like me doesn't want to accept things which are not researched by allopathy. But allopathy again is doing research, and they're coming back to the same conclusions. This is what I just wanted to stress. That these are very important things which Buddha has talked about, and they are now again being proved in other sciences also. So the West is again taking up all the, like, yoga has been become very popular in the West now. And it is actually an Indian science which is brought to the world.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I don't understand Pali and I don't understand Sanskrit also, but these facts have been proven, and it is a different way of saying the same thing, and they have done it. I don't know what research they did 2.5 millenniums ago, but it is a very scientific evidence, meditation, and this the science which Buddha talks in the suttas. I just wanted to stress the fact that जो हम steroids कहते हैं, dopamine and serotonin, uh, these are actually released in very high quantities when sit still and meditate.
Yes, absolutely. The four brain chemicals, as in dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins. These are the positive chemicals that gets released without you doing anything. Actually, we seek for dopamine. Dopamine is a reward chemical. Whatever rewards you are looking at in jhana is coming out of dopamine. Supposing you have the best of the dopamine coming in, you would love to be in that. And you don't have to put anything. So, like what Dr. Mangala is talking about is that if the body is still, and the Pali word for that is avikepa, or in Sanskrit, vikshepa, which means shaking. So the air becomes like breeze instead of becoming like a turbulent volcanic thing or turbulent like a hurricane. So when somebody is in stress, as an example, the cortisol is released in the brain. And when cortisol is released in the brain, it creates fear. So that is in the limbic system of the brain, which sometimes or many times referred as a reptilian side of the brain, where you have fight and flight response because it's shaking. Whatever shakes has an effect. So basically, if we don't shake at all, then the body stills up. And when it stills up, the serotonin is released in the brain to begin with. And then the oxytocin gets released. And the pain is removed through endorphins. And these three chemicals make sure that there is enough supply of dopamine to get rewarded. So the cortisol comes down. As the cortisol comes down, the fear disappears. So you become fearless. That's the whole thing. If we go by the neuroscience, and we can see what's happening. So the neurons will now have a different home. So they don't crave because it's always there. You crave because it is missed out. So when there's no missing out, there's no craving. And there's no craving means there's no clinging to that experience because it's always there. And that's how the consciousness now establishes outside the womb. And that state is anagami. That's it. If I were to explain to you in a very scientific way, what's anagami is, there is no need to enjoy the same thing through a womb existence. You don't require a womb to enjoy that. So you're out of the womb. Very simple way of doing it, actually. So what is sensual then? Sensual means firing in all directions. Because you are seeing there is a reduced prana, which is what Dr. Mangala is talking, let's say oxygen. So it gets reduced. So again, you have to eat something or do something to get back the prana or the oxygen. So now what do? You keep on consuming, but you lose more by eating. There's no conservation of energy. If you were to conserve the energy, then you reach a higher state of existence. So you just keep on doing it till you come out of all kind of madness. That's a very simple way I can put it. Yes, Aryu.
So I'm wondering how to understand what Mangala said about sitting meditation versus the four postures, and I guess the combination would be good, but sitting also had the benefits.
Today is Thursday, Aryu. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm there. Right? Hold all your thoughts. Anyway, I and you are going to be together. Right? So don't worry. Yeah, Dr. Mangala is going to answer. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Aryu, when you are doing it, when you're doing the meditation and all the other positions, Buddha talks about being aware of your breath. You know, he says you have to be aware of your breath always. And what you're when you're aware of your breath, the shallow breathing that you are doing unaware, when you're not aware of your breath, you're not breathing properly. And if you are aware of your breath, your oxygen in the lungs increases. So whatever activity you are doing, you're giving the oxygen for it. So that is the vayu, you are not stopping the oxygen for the brain. So he says you should be aware of your breath. Now, sir also told us previously that, when you sit for meditation, first you take deep breaths, right from your head to your toe, and you fill your body with oxygen. And then you gradually decrease the oxygen so that, the utilization of the oxygen for the body is less. It's a very scientific process. All the oxygen then goes to the brain. So Buddha talks about even in any positions, you cannot be sitting for 24 hours all your life. But he says, be aware of your breath. When you're aware of your breath, you're breathing properly and you're taking in oxygen. All of us, in our activities, when we're scared, like Sir told us, when you are frightened, you breathe very shallow and fast. But when Buddha says you're aware of your breath, that means you're aware of the regularity of your breathing and you're taking in proper oxygen for the additional activity that you are doing. I hope I'm correct me, sir, if I'm
No,
wrong.
you're right. You're absolutely right. No.
Thank you for explaining.
And then Mangala, I didn't wanted to answer to him because another 3 days I'm in front of him. Then there's no point in going all the way there. So I
Oh,
thought,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't want to take your thunder,
no,
sir.
it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. I just wanted to cut his inquisitiveness. So I thought, anyway, I'm there. So this is the topic.
I'm sorry, sir. I talk only with your permission, but I
No, it
thought
is fine. It's fine. Absolutely fine. I have no issues in what you say. You're absolutely right. You're correct in saying that. Yes, are you?
Yeah, and I guess one aspect of the stillness, if you're watching the breath, it can be brought into all the posture as well. Like if you're walking,
Yes, I used like this. Since you asked this, now I can't stop answering to you. Or she's already answered, but the thing is, there is no thing called as posture. You're in the same state. That's called samadhi. Right? Your same state. You maintain a state irrespective of the posture. Now, there are two kinds of breathing, what actually it is. One is abdominal breathing, one is chest breathing. 99% of us do chest breathing. You don't even pull your abdomen to breathe. So when it goes through the abdomen, it pulls everything up and the circulation happens. So basically, it transports oxygenated into every cell of your body when you're relaxed. If we are not relaxed, relaxation as in what Buddha is talking about, pasambhaya, calming. The body is calmed. There's no agitation. So it gets oxygenated. Then what happens? It requires a little bit of oxygen only. And the more oxygen is required for the brain because it has got waves, got brain waves. So it has different wave patterns. So the neurons firing have different patterns for which you require this boost of energy, which is oxygen. So if you want to connect new networks, you require to create networks. If the body is taking more of it, it can't do it in the brain. What you do is you utilize less resources so that the more amount is there in the brain. And then you shift the default mode network. It's just like this, Harry. On Saturday or Sunday, you move the networks. You say, we are shutting down the network and we are going to have a new network. So the servers will not be working on that day. So we call it as a maintenance.
I'm sorry, my son was talking. Can you repeat the last 10 seconds?
What I said is that even in our world, IT, we have movement. We say we are moving the servers. So on Saturday and Sunday, you will not be able to access the servers. It's called a shutdown maintenance. So what you do, you change the IP address. Just what the change of networks is. So even in the brain, you change the IP address. When you change the IP address, your network is changed. So you are on a new network now. So the default mode network is skipped. So now you are on a different ride altogether. So there's no default network now. The default is whatever you were doing, whatever habitual patterns were there. Now these habitual patterns are gone because it's no longer going through that network. So to move the network, you require oxygen. So to say, because brain is a 60-watt bulb, it takes so much power than any other place. So to generate 60-watt power, you need to shut down many systems. And that's the reason Buddha says, Passambhayankaya sankharan asasisameti sikkati. Passambhayankaya sankharan pasasisameti sikkati. You oxygenate so much that you don't require any more asapassa. So it keeps on dipping, dipping, dipping. So the heartbeat should reduce now instead of increasing. So when the heartbeat is reduced, actually in medical terms, it's called a bradycardia. And if it is a more, it is called a tachycardia. It's running means trachy. It's slowing down means brachy. Okay. Now what you do is you maintain that is called as athletic heartbeat, which hovers around 40 to 50 beats per minute. So if you were to maintain that and come down to 37, 38, it's optimal. All the blood only goes to the brain and nowhere else. Pure oxygenated blood. Then you change the network. So you have skipped your habitual patterns and no longer that will be accessible. So you shut down your network, old networks which were lousy. Now you have high speed, let's say 100 Gbps network. Yes, Aryu.
And this same similar process is possible also walking, not just sitting.
Absolutely, all the four postures. In fact, by exercising, you are increasing oxygen. That's a secret to it, right? Simple thing. If you don't exercise, no oxygen. No oxygen, the brain goes for brain fog. They call brain fog. You can't clearly see it. It's something not able to understand. Brain fog. Many people use this term called brain fog because they don't have oxygenated blood. So diaphragmic breathing is what we need to have. You can search on internet or on chat GPT on diaphragmic breathing, and then it will give you a lot of information. You can read it up. Dr. Mangala, you don't have to worry. What you said is right. So, I mean, you don't have to, feel bad that you answered for me. That's fine.
Sir, I want to stress one very important thing that, having after joined your group, I feel your discussions are very candid, very straightforward, they're very original, and they're in a group. So it benefits me a lot, all the questions that the participants ask, it makes me review, think about, and it brings in also humility. See, as a doctor now, we keep thinking we know everything, but that is not the case. You are a specialist in spirituality and in Buddha, and I always will be humble, and I'll stoop in front of you. I will always be seeking from you. So that is the basic thing, and it has been a real pleasure joining everybody, and all parts of the world. You have people like I think Kerry is from USA, and somebody is from, and Lakshmi is actually busy now. She is from Malaysia. I have other Kalyan Mitra. So we are really very indebted to you that this is one area where we don't have options, very many options, and good options. In around people are out to do business, whereas your efforts seem very very genuine, and you really work hard. So I'm very respectful of you. That is very basic. But having been in the medicine field, we are all very impulsive, and we all want to talk very much, and we want to show off. So that also has to be reduced. I do agree, but we are very respectful of you, sir.
No, I'm not saying that you are not respecting, but if you want to say something, I would really appreciate, because getting a different perspective. See, we in our group we have one Ayurvedic doctor and we have another MBBS doctor, so we are very much privileged to see from a different source and then say that, oh, what Buddha says and what science says or medicine says tallies. That I know, but hearing it from an expert in that area, I would recommend that. I mean, you or Kalpana talking about it, I would really love it, because instead of I filling up the gap, you can fill it up much easier.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm very grateful to you for having said that, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so then we can end for today, I guess, and take Bhuta tomorrow. That's really fun. What is Bhuta? Yes, Kalpana ji. Kalpana ji, you wanted to talk or by
Oh,
mistake?
sorry, sir. It's by mistakes.
By mistake, okay. Fine. Any questions? May, what do you feel? You are also a doctor. I forgot. We have doctor also, May.
Vijay also is there, sir.
Vijay is also, yes, correct.
That's good. Very good talk. Thank you. And yes, there's a lot of, I think a lot of people are eating more than they should. So like you said, people don't realize that when they're eating, there is toxins with it. They think everything is fine. So I think I think everybody's stressing their bodies too much these days. So I think that's one of the other problem.
Yes, across the globe, we're just becoming like pigs. Keep on devouring things.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah. So, Aryu, what I was trying to, or not just for everyone, is that Sunday, if I switch off the system for maintenance, afternoon to 10 p.m., it's completely on maintenance. Shift the network And by the time it is 6:30 or 7 in India, you just open up. So you know what would happen, Ariu? 4 brain chemicals would always be high: serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, dopamine. So when I land in the US, there is no dearth for happiness. So that's called as happiness hormones. Okay. So then what happens? You don't require any fuel external because you're fueled up completely. So that's no pursuit of happiness. I don't have to pursue happiness. It's there. So instead of saying in pursuit of happiness, there's no pursuit. It's just there. That's a level you can go. So what to do is breath watching. That's the reason I'm stressing for you and Chirag to do it. Is that if you don't do it, you're adding toxins. So you will not get that experience at all because you require to have good amount of dopamine reward system. And serotonin will give you the secured feeling. And then oxytocin will make you feeling like you're socially acceptable, like, you know, ARIA and all that, what we are talking. And endorphin will reduce the pain. It's a pain inhibitor. It inhibits pain. So you'll not feel any pain because of endorphins. So you're using this chemical. There are many other chemicals. It's not only these 4. There are close to around 20, 22 or 23 chemicals. Which brain will do it if provided a right opportunity. And it requires good oxygen to open those channels. So just doing that. So we will see how do we physically be active from 23rd of December.
Hope there's not too much rain, but if there is, we'll find some other way.
Yeah, we can go to mall and walk. US has many malls, so it doesn't matter. Okay, all right. Good night and good day and good afternoon. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mangala. So I still have time. I mean, we still going to meet on Friday. That is tomorrow. Saturday anyway, we are not meeting. So we're still meeting tomorrow and then we will take it up. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.